Regalia, Penthouse 43. Filmed this in 2020, $32 million penthouse. You shot this video, you got 1.1 million views. Let's see if it's worth it.
All right, let's take a look. At the time when I filmed this, I thought this was the craziest place I've ever seen in my entire life.
I mean, it's impressive when you get the stats and you look at it. And then this one you shot, you got 1.1 million views. Okay, so you go straight into the unit. It's a nice choice, green shirt, bold.
All right. All right, let's get to the numbers.
So yeah, this was $32 million. It was asking $3,000 a square foot. I was looking at this, the association was like $15,000 a month.
One of the key features too I want to mention is it had a $1 million bathroom, which was their whole marketing thing. They were like, oh, it has a $1 million value bathroom. And it was the entire length of the unit is one bathroom.
Wow.
So
it's got like those bragging rights. When you look at it on paper, it was like 10,755 square feet, 5 bedrooms, 6.5 bathrooms. Obviously staggering price. Just to kind of like stop it and go through it, what was interesting is, again, what do we want to know? Was it worth it?
Right.
Was it worth $32 million? And at that year, there was only one property in Regalia that sold, and it sold at $1,100 a square foot. Admittedly, it wasn't designer finished. It didn't have like a $1 million bathroom. It didn't have a rooftop pool, but it was a 5,000 square foot unit. It sold for $5.5 million, and this went to $32 million.
And I also want to mention that $32 million today gets you the average luxury home, but when I filmed this, 32 million was like saying 100 million. Like when I told my friends I was doing a $32 million property, they were like, where and what is that? This is like an insane price at the time.
And the view, I mean, it's got this like double height ceiling, so the volume of this is really impressive.
The wow factor is at this house. Like you don't walk through this and think, I'm paying 32 million for this. That's not the vibe. It's just like on paper, is it a good value? That's kind of what you have to think about, you know?
Yeah, and that's exactly where we go, because I remember touring this unit. It's actually coming back to me. I toured this with a client, and it is definitely, it's really impressive. The view's impressive, the height's impressive, but the whole purpose of this is to figure out, was it actually worth it? And what's interesting is that when you actually look in the whole neighborhood, the most expensive in the Sunny Isles market was $1,800 a square foot and $1,500 a square foot. And this was at $3,000 a square foot. And so mentally, we're trying to ask, like, how did they come up with this number? Like,
right.
What was the
and I honestly think that's what hurt them as well, is that starting with a number like that, like in real estate, you know, if you start too high, it just kind of puts a bad taste in everyone's mouth in the future if it doesn't sell. So I'm sure if when I did this video, if they had it listed for like in the 20s, I'm sure it would have had more traffic. But starting at 32 million, like I said, that was mind blowing. When we came to this, my camera guy was like, what the heck is who pays $32 million to live somewhere?
Yeah.
So it was just out of the ordinary.
Well, this is where it gets interesting, because as we roll forward 4 years from now, this unit has been on the market for 4 years.
Yeah.
It's been reduced and reduced and reduced.
Went to auction.
Didn't sell.
No one even wanted it at auction.
And now it's on the market for, it was a year ago, it was at $25 million. Now it's at $23.5 million, which is staggering. The interesting thing is, if someone had bought this that year, let's say they'd seen this at $32 million and negotiated a little bit of money off, that year there was a total of only 10 properties that sold over $30 million in the whole of Miami-Dade and actually into Broward. And the most, that was actually a house, and again, this is the comparison of what you would have paid. There's a house on 21 Cosarina, which is 4 acres, right? Cosarina is Gables Estates, which is really the most, considered next to Indian Creek Island, the most expensive neighborhood in the whole of Miami. It was a point lot right at the end. I think it sold for $37 million.
Right.
If you'd bought that today, that's like $100 million, legitimately $100 million property, which is wild to think about.
Do you have any statistics on like condos and penthouses and their resale value? Because I feel like homes is a given. You know, you get land and you get like nice location, but a condo is so specific. Like every time I do a condo video of any kind, everyone's like, who would pay blank amount of dollars to live in a building? You have to ride an elevator, you have to do this and that. Like in your history of doing this, have you ever seen value go up like that significantly?
Yeah, well, yeah, I have. I mean, that's the thing. People usually think that houses naturally, because like land is the one thing they're not building any more of. But if you actually go into the market, so in the cases of like between 2020 and 2024, there is a lot of buildings that actually went up by 100% in value. They went up hugely, so they were definitely worth it. Again, these were in more primary markets. The Sunny Isles market, and we say this with some of the other videos that we critique, is that that market did not go up as much as other neighborhoods. If you had bought at that year a unit at the Four Seasons and the top level sales that year that were around that $3,000 a square foot, when there was a few, were all at the Four Seasons Surfside. Right? They traded at $3,000 a square foot. Those units now are trading around $6,000 a square foot, which is, it's wild, but it's such a unique product. But it's a totally different neighborhood.
That's true.
And I think that neighborhood really kind of has become the ultra luxury area. It's no doubt sexy, but there were some things on this, in this building specifically, that I think really held it back. It had some maintenance challenges in the building from what I've heard, and the terraces, although it's impressive and it wraps all the way around, it's kind of like a valance on a cake.
Yeah.
You can't really use it now.
And I'll be honest, the reason, if you'll notice, I never go outside on the terrace in this video, ever, not once, until I get to the top floor. But the first 2 floors, you literally cannot walk out on the terrace. The wind is like terrifying. You go on the balcony and you almost fall over. I'm not kidding. I have a blooper of this and I'm literally leaning over outside and the wind is so strong, I'm like, dude, if I go out there, I'll fall. Like, it was scary. So I think that was a huge mistake as well. The aerodynamics of the building is not there, because I've been on buildings like in Jade Signature and stuff where I'm around the ocean, I'm not falling over.
Yeah.
So it was just a really weird design, like walking down the edge, going from the ocean to the other side, it's like impossible to cross that. So.
And even, what about where the pool is?
Right, so that's another thing that's very confusing. At the top floor, you have this pool, and the terrace goes all the way around, but the pool is in the center of the building. So it's like dead center on top, and you have all this space that's unused. So besides the terrace, there's like an indoor space that you can't access. And I believe they just said it's like building, air conditioning units. It's like all the maintenance of the building, but it's like on your property almost. So so it's really like 2.5 floors. The whole half floor is like taken up with unusable space. It's the craziest thing.
The finishes of the place are impressive. I don't know if I would.
So this is the $1 million bathroom right here.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why. This is the only bathroom that looked like that though. And so they had 2 units. They had one like this, and they had one down on like a beach house version of this. Had the same length bathroom, but the finishes were completely bare. It was just like flat.
I remember this bathroom. It had a sauna, didn't it?
Had a sauna, steam room, 2 showers, 2 tubs, like 2 everything. I have a video of this on TikTok, and it got 10 million views because everyone was like, who would ever own $1 million bathroom? It's just not realistic. Yeah. And you can kind of see when you're there, you're just like, who lives like this? You have to be like an oligarch or something,
It's a very strong, like stylistically, it's very strong. Wrapping it up, I mean, the dollar per square foot in Regalia today is trading somewhere around $1,500 a square foot. The max it ever got to was $2,000 a square foot. And again, looking at our tool, Condo Geeks, that actually tracks the performance. This is one of the cool tools that actually I got to show you not long ago and show you actually what happened. Regalia as a building, it kind of did well. After 2020, it's dropped a little bit, but it's had a really weird oscillation. It hasn't had a continual kind of run moving up in value. Overall, the last 4 years, properties have gone up an awful lot. There are other buildings that have done better.
Yeah, I never have a client ever say, like, show me something in Regalia. Never really happens, unfortunately.
Buildings now, everyone wants to look at are the Aquilina, the Turnberry, the Ritz-Carlton still does well. Of course, there's other stuff moving into different areas. But overall, I guess the conclusions is, was it worth it? Well, obviously, at $32 million at the time, no, it wasn't.
I knew that there. But what would you say it's worth, in your opinion? And let's say you get the listing tomorrow. What is David Siddons listing it at?
Well, today it's on the market for $23.5 million, so I'm not going to say. But what I will say is, if you want to know, why don't you call us?
Yeah.
I'll tell you what we think is worth today.
I like that answer. All right, so $32 million, not worth it, but maybe the next one will be.